So when a director and writer are finally coming together to working on something, then both individuals will bring something to the table. So a perfect relationship is where you respect, there is a respect for each other. The information, as I told you earlier, does not sound like exposition, and yet it comes out in the most engaging and entertaining way. Uh, is the is what you have to do as a dialogue writer if you're only doing dialogues. क्योंकि यहाँ पर कोई घर नहीं है जो आपको रहने देगा फ्री में, राइट? क्योंकि कोई रिश्तेदार नहीं है, कोई नहीं है, तो आप ये टेको कैसे शहर में? तो पहले तो वो जुगाड़ करना था.
Hey everyone, my name is Parush, and in this new episode of the Long Live Cinema Show, I got the chance to speak to Sumit Arora. He's a screenwriter and has also ventured into directing and taking charge behind the camera. His body of work includes prominent names like Chandu Champion, Jawan, Stree, The Family Man, 83, and more. In this conversation, Sumit shared everything about his experiences of working as a screenwriter, how he started working for TV shows, TV serials in India, and then he transitioned to writing dialogues for films. And most recently, he wrote the screenplay for Chandu Champion, and he has also directed a bunch of episodes of one of my favorite TV shows, which is Little Things. We talk about the basics of screenwriting, what is actually the difference between a screenplay, story, and what is exposition, something that you must have heard quite a lot of times in my video essays as well. We take a deep dive into his writing process, how he wrote certain portions of Chandu Champion, what was his experience of working as a dialogue writer for TV serials with Balaji, and I'm sure you are going to gain a lot of wisdom from his experiences after listening to this podcast, especially if you want to venture into screenwriting as a career. So, without any further delay, sit back, relax, and start the show. So, without any further delay, let's sit back, relax, and start the show. So, to get started with our conversation, so since I would love to take a deep dive first and establish some basics for everyone who's watching. Firstly, I would love for you to just create a segregation for us when it comes to script and screenplay. What is the basic difference when it comes to script and screenplay?
Script is usually used for the final uh, product which actually जहाँ से जिससे shooting होती है. Screenplay is an in between draft where the dialogues are not there or dialogues are very tentative and indicative. Uh, so basically, a script is a full draft with dialogues, and screenplay is a draft without the dialogues.
Okay, okay. All right, I get it. I get it. And there is another word that is has become very common when it comes to describing whatever happens in a film, and that word is called exposition. There is a way that, like, I have a definition of exposition. There are people who love cinema to that extent, who like to explore various aspects. They have different definitions, but I would love to know from a writer himself that what is exposition.
एक्सपोजिशन इज कि अगर सामने फ्रेम में अगर सेब रखा हुआ है या अनार रखा हुआ है या कोई भी एक तलवार रखी हुई है और आप बोल रहे हो कि यहाँ पे सेब रखा हुआ है, इस सेब को देखो, सो सेब दिख रहा है. तो एक तो ये एक्सपोजिशन हो गई. इट इज ऑल्सो स्टेटिंग द ऑब्वियस. इट बेसिकली आई एम टॉकिंग इन अ वेरी सिंपल लैंग्वेज. इट आई मीन एंड आई बिल्ड अपॉन दिस इन द सेंस के stating the obvious is basically exposition, and that is one level of exposition. Another level of exposition is uh, when you are, which is actually the worst kind of, both are equally bad. Uh, the other kind of exposition which people usually take call exposition is कि जहां पर आपको कुछ अगर कन्वे करना है, कुछ भी स्टोरी का पॉइंट या राइटर को कुछ कन्वे करना है और वो कैरेक्टर के मुंह से वो बुलवाने लग जाता है. यानी कि मान लीजिए आपको कैरेक्टर की बैक स्टोरी बोलनी है कि पता है जब मैं मेरठ में पल बढ़ रहा था तो मेरे क्या हालात थे, इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्चुअली showing it to the audience, okay, this is how this character was formed, or this is what happened with him, this is what happened in the earlier scene, this is how I want to convey, instead of finding a interesting way to convey the information without actually making it uh, like putting it out like in the dialogue form, that is a like better screenwriting. And weaker screenwriting is when you're doing exactly जिसमें exposition हो रहा है, जहां पर आपको जो information देनी है वो आप कैरेक्टर के मुंह से बुलवाने लगते हो, तो वो exposition है.
All right, that's great. But how do you, when you are writing screenplays, when you are writing dialogues, when you are working on a story, how do you create that? How do you make that choice कि हम यहाँ पे ये information डायलॉग के थ्रू बताएंगे और ये इन्फॉर्मेशन में हम कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे, जो विजुअल है वही चलेगा और उससे ऑडियंस समझ जाएगी कि क्या हो रहा है, या फिर हम कोशिश कर पाएंगे कि हाँ हम जो बताना चाह रहे हैं वो एक विजुअल के थ्रू हो रहा है और ना कि कोई बोल के बताए. How do you make that choice?
So see, first rule of screenwriting and filmmaking has always been, which is a very famous line, show don't tell. That आप दिखाओ, बोलो मत. और बोलो वो कि जो दिखे मत. ये मेरा लाइन है जो मैं बोलता हूँ कि बोलो ऐसे कि जो दिखे नहीं. तो if you have to say something, which there are times where you have to say things, because you cannot just show all the things. Otherwise, मतलब मैं तो डायलॉग में मेरा फोटे है, अगर उसकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी डायलॉग राइटर्स की. So there are a lot of things which you have to say, but whatever you say, it should not look like you are saying it. It should look like कि ये तो सीन में मुझे मजा आ रहा है या engaging है, कुछ अच्छी बातें हो रही हैं, and yet I'm receiving all the information. That is where actually even the role of writing good dialogues also comes in. कि आपको जहां जो भी कन्वे करना है, और आपको ये कन्वे करना ही पड़ेगा डायलॉग्स के थ्रू, क्योंकि अगर आप विजुअली बताओगे तो शायद ये लैंड ना हो ऑडियंस के ऊपर, या फिर शायद रजिस्टर ना हो. तो बहुत सी चीजें आपको डायलॉग के थ्रू ही कन्वे करनी पड़ती हैं, लेकिन वो इंफॉर्मेशन should not look like information. So you have to find devices in dialogues and the way you construct a scene in dialogues that सारी information आ जाए, लेकिन वो flat out information ना लगे.
Got it, got it. Can you help us with an example from one of the films that you have worked on to explain this, explain the inclusion of these devices that you just mentioned? I guess you're talking about plot devices.
No, see, these are in-scene devices in the sense कि how you construct a scene. अगर किसी, I'm trying to think of a scene from one of my work, and usually I don't look back at my work with, you know, to give references because it sounds weird, कि आप अपने ही काम का reference दे रहे हो.
नहीं, but you can pick up
But
any other
maybe,
reference, that something, some
हाँ.
iconic scene from a film that has really stood out for you, any particular moment that you think is a great example.
No, let's take the example of, I mean, अभी मेरे फिल्म से ही आ गया मुझे जब आपने बोला तो that scene in Stree, where these three guys, they realize that they have to take help from uh, you know Rudra Bhaiya, which is played by Pankaj Tripathi ji. So they decide to go to uh, his shop, which he calls like Pustak Bhandar. Now when they go to his shop, like he says ke dukaan nahi, Pustak Bhandar. Like, so now what you're doing is ke it's a simple scene of, in terms of your writing, a simple scene of exposition, in the sense ke ke the characters have to go and find information about what is this spirit that is haunting the town Sri. इसका फंडा क्या है और इसको कैसे हम इसे टैकल कर सकते हैं, राइट. ये बहुत ही लॉजिकल सवाल है, इनके जवाब जो होंगे बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन ही होंगे अगर आप स्टोरी पॉइंट वाइज देखो तो. अब इसको स्टोरी पॉइंट को आप, इंफॉर्मेशन वाले सीन को आप कैसे मजेदार बनाओ ताकि आपको इंफॉर्मेशन भी मिल जाए लेकिन आपको लगे ना कि आपको इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रहा है. So then you go, you pick up, ways to induce humor in it. You have established, which was obviously the screenplay was written by Rajan DK in a, extremely interesting way, and which I already got. But the devices even they use, and even which I try to find, is that okay, there's an interesting character, who will give information, but then like, he's reading about Stree ये था, and then the initial information he reads about the town is कि चंदेरी बहुत प्राचीन शहर है, यहाँ पर ये फसल उगती थी, ये सब होता था. He's reading like a fifth grade like book about history or geography or about anything. So I used all of that, like how you used to write, जिसको हिंदी में निबंध बोल, ऐसे जो होता है निबंध होता है कि आप लिख रहे हो कि यहाँ पर ये होता था, यहाँ पे खेती, इस चीज की खेती होती थी, एंड देन ही When he flips the page, suddenly he goes to a different page. So suddenly the conversation sounds funny because he was reading about one topic and suddenly went to a different topic because there's a page missing in between. So so it brings humor. So they're like, "अरे आप वहाँ कहाँ चले गए?" Because the main page which had the information is missing. So now suddenly he's like, "Yeah, I don't know." So the thing is, you find, and then he says, "Okay, but I think she was missing this. She needed love, and she needs love. That's why she's doing it." So you have put out the information, but you have made it because of this device of there's a page missing. There is a very interesting character who doesn't like to call, who has a very, who knows everything, and he boasts about his knowledge. So all of these devices make the information not look like information but entertainment.
Okay, okay, great. And you just mentioned that these are in-scene devices. So, like, what is the difference then between an in-scene and a plot device?
See, a plot device is uh, a device which uh, like for a bigger construction that you use, okay, where there is a larger construction that you're doing of a story narrative, and you figure out, okay, if I want to take my character from A point to B point, what is the best way to do it? What is the best device that I can use for that? So that is the plot device. Okay, he will, if the character has to have a fall in terms of his arc, you need the character to go down in his journey. Then you figure out what is the best device for this, which is not seen a lot, which is new as well, but yet it has to create a fall because his stories have an arc which is mostly the arcs remain. A man goes in the pit, a man comes out of the pit. There are very three four arcs that you play with, but it's the devices which the audience perceives and they go with that. And so I think that is what the plot device is, and what I talked about are the in-scene devices.
Okay, okay. So I'm guessing that whenever you are making these choices, I'm sorry, there are this, in order to do justice to the story, there should be, first of all, both the writer and the director, and I'm guessing like ये तब की बात है जब दो लोग हैं, मतलब एक राइटर है और एक डायरेक्टर है, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स देर इज़ अनदर सिचुएशन व्हेन द राइटर हिमसेल्फ, like the director is the writer, sometimes the director also becomes the editor, but when it comes to two people, which is writer and director, how, like, what is the perfect relationship between a writer and a director? Because what all you mentioned, it, of course, it requires meticulous planning and you have to make those judgments कि यहाँ पे ये चीज़ काम करेगी, अच्छा हम स्टोरी को इस तरह से सर्व करेंगे, सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट कैन वर्क एंड शुड कैन नॉट वर्क. There are lots of, I'm sure, agreements and disagreement, and you have to ultimately follow a mutual understanding wala path. So how would you define, a perfect relationship between a writer and a director?
A perfect relationship is where a writer and director. I think it's a see any collaboration between people of two people is like a marriage. Uh, Now, in a marriage, uh, and it's a marriage by which is not an arranged marriage at all, right? Like mostly it's a love marriage where you're choosing to work with somebody. So you are saying, okay, I want to work with this person for this work. It could be a writer, and I feel it can be. It's the same applies to like a music director or any collaboration. So when a director and writer are finally coming together to working on something, then both individuals will bring something to the table. So a perfect relationship is where there is a respect for each other. That is a fundamental thing. Otherwise, a director might just hire, and they should, if they just want to convey their point of views and not really listen to what the writer has to offer, then, and which used to happen earlier as well, and which still may be happening, in certain places, given the director actually exactly knows what he wants. He doesn't want to have a collaboration. He just wants somebody to do what he wants to do. Then it becomes he just needs somebody to execute your vision. But a perfect relationship between a writer and director is that where both individuals are bringing something to the table and both individuals are very well aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses. They have mutual respect for those qualities. They understand each other's strengths, they understand each other's weaknesses, they know where to come in, okay, this, let me, you leave this to me. Like how in a marriage, like, or in a relationship, you like, okay, you leave this to me. This I am good at, I'll do it. You do this because you're good at this. I am not good at this, so you handle this. So it's like that. Where there's a mutual respect, understanding of each other's weakness and strength, and then allowing a free space, uh, and and an open space for that individual strengths to flourish and grow.
Right, right, well said. And ये तो चलिए दो लोगों के बीच की बात हो गई, बट लेट्स से यू आर समवन हु हैज़ वर्कड एज अ डायरेक्टर एज वेल, एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू आर अ राइटर. How does it feel to be completely in control of your craft when you are both the writer and director of a story? It can be a film or a show, in comparison to when you just write something that is being directed by someone else. How does that vision that you imagine gets fulfilled in that kind of a scenario?
Where I'm just writing and somebody else is directing,
No,
right?
no,
Like,
no.
which is,
हाँ, yes, yes. When you are writing and somebody else is directing, because जब आप लिख
yeah,
रहे हो तो of course you have like complete creative control कि okay, this is how I wrote it, ये ऐसे
yeah,
होना चाहिए. और फिर आप director भी हैं, then you know exactly how to direct people to do what you
yeah,
imagined and to fulfill your idea
yeah,
exactly how you wanted to.
yeah,
But
yeah,
how does it work when you are writing for someone and there is a director?
yeah. No, of course, see, that is, I mean, so far, most of the processes and journey, bigger part of journey has been that, where I've written for other people, I've directed, of course. Uh, but I know that when I'm a director, even when I'm developing my own script right now, as a director, uh, my my state of mind is different, because I know here I am, uh, the it's going to be ultimately my vision, because I am going to be the director and I'm also a writer. So it becomes a one vision. There is no confusion in terms of the vision, because I'm the writer director. Uh, and but when you are partnering or collaborating with a director, it is going to be eventually the director who will be making the film. And if he does not feel it in his bones, every scene and every beat and every dialogue, then whatever you do, he it will not translate well on screen. So you have to go by, the director has to be convinced in the end. The director is the captain of the ship, because director is the final author in filmmaking, right? So now, as a writer, then it becomes your duty to then have those sessions where you put out your vision. The director has his own vision in terms of writing, in terms of script, and you guys have to come, and eventually either of you have to convince the other. But eventually it becomes a director, who has to be convinced. Because if, even if as a writer you are not convinced, if the director is convinced with something, then okay, he's seeing it in his head, because eventually he will be the one who will be shooting it on the floor, and then he will execute it. And there have been a lot of moments like that, where I have seen that, sometimes I have not been, it's not like I've not been convinced, but I've seen a material which was on script, which I was like, Acha, I don't know how this is going to, really pan out. But because the director had a vision, which I did not have for those moments, so you figure, okay, once you see it on the screen, you see how it is going to pan out. And similar thing happens when I am I'm collaborating with another writer for something which I'm going to be directing. And I know, like, for example, there was one discussion where, he was like, Acha, the sequence, we can do it like this. So I was like, okay, just leave it. I have a certain way that I'm going to do it, and then you see it, because as a director, I am seeing it in my head, okay, how it's going to come out. And then, the person understands and then trusts you. So I think that is where how the collaboration really works out, okay, between these two individuals.
Right. I want to dig a little deeper into the writing process because there is something that always, I ask this question कि आप जब बिल्कुल base stage पे आते हो, like you have the story, you know what is going to happen in the beginning and how you want it to end. बट देन देर इज़ द इंटायर मिडल पोर्शन, जैसे हम वो स्ट्रक्चर की बात करते हैं, 3 एक्ट स्ट्रक्चर हो गया या फिर एक्ट 1, एक्ट 2, एक्ट 3. तो for you when you are starting to work on a story, what comes first? Like, is it, do you need जैसे यहाँ पे मैं स्पेसिफिकली अगर डायलॉग के बारे में पूछूं, सो हाउ डू यू थिंक ऑफ द डायलॉग्स, कि आपको पहले व्हाट इज इट दैट यू वांट, डू यू वांट फर्स्टली द सीन सेटअप, दैट हाउ द सीन इज गोइंग टू वर्क, एंड देन यू विल थिंक ऑफ कि अच्छा यहाँ पे अगर कॉन्वर्जेशन हो रही है या डायलॉग्स की ज़रूरत है तो हम इसके बारे में अब हम सोच सकते हैं, और यू फर्स्ट स्टार्ट विद द डायलॉग एंड देन यू पैन आउट द सीन कि अच्छा यहाँ पे ये पहले वो कहेगा या जो भी कैरेक्टर है वो हमारा ये कैरेक्टर बोल रहा है, और उसके बाद फिर हम सोचेंगे कि हमारी सराउंडिंग कैसी है. सो व्हाट कम्स फर्स्ट?
No, see, there are two ways to this, and especially there are two roles that I do. Like if I'm only doing dialogues for a film or a series, uh, then a situation is already there. You know, in the screenplay draft, the situation is already there. It has a location. It's a setting is there. There is a indicative, like a conversation uh, flow. Okay, this is what's going to happen in the scene, and this is what they're going to talk about, because that's the screen, that's the content of the scene. Now how do you make it flow in terms of a conversation, and how do you make it the best way to communicate the information which has been told to you, given to you in the screenplay? Okay, this is the communication that needs to be conveyed. Now, how do you make sure that it comes out in the best possible way in the dialogues? How do characters, especially how do all the characters stand out uh, individually in that scene, in terms of their language, in terms of how they're expressing themselves, and the information, as I told you earlier, does not sound like exposition, and yet it comes out in the most engaging and entertaining way. Uh, is the is what you have to do as a dialogue writer if you're only doing dialogues. Now, when you're doing a full script, uh, then a lot of times you think of a setting. You sometimes think, okay, I want to do a scene there. I want to see a scene in this kind of a setting. Uh, and or this information, I know at this point in this character's life, where he has to deal with this situation, I want to do this scene in this certain setting. So you think of that. Uh, then sometimes you do also think of, like a flashes of dialogues come to you when you're just thinking of a character's journey, and you think, okay, maybe at some point, he should ask this person this. He should maybe confront this person about this aspect of the plot, or maybe at this point he will confront his demons. uh, Maybe at some point he will confront his father and ask him this question. So sometimes you get those flashes of dialogues which are actually very crucial uh, plot points. So a lot of times the plot points come to you in terms of dialogues, because those are not just dialogues; those are very crucial points and confrontation in that character's journey.
Okay, okay, I get it. And I have a question which might just sound a little weird, but how can someone be like a, I won't say terrible, but not a good writer in your opinion? Like I'm sure there are people, आपने बहुत सारी scripts पढ़ी होंगी, people must have pitched you so many ideas, whenever they get in touch, or they have asked you for advice कि आप, मैंने कुछ लिखा है, if you can take a look and give your feedback. So what according to you, from your experience, makes someone not a good writer?
Not a good writer. I think uh, exposition is a big uh, problem. That if you're constantly doing exposition, it shows that you have not thought through your writing. And uh, I mean, it's too harsh a thing to say कि what makes somebody a terrible writer, because I don't want to be the one calling out anybody a terrible writer. But uh, to to just, I think, see, what I believe is, I like to give it always the spin the other way around. Okay, to constantly, I think what I look for is if somebody is trying to be a writer. See, of course, you have to have a knack for uh, uh, you cannot just have plots which are uh, I think, okay, let me say it like this. Okay, what makes for not a good writer is lack of layers, is what I always think. Okay, if you don't have layers in your writing, if it's just about the first layer, first layer a lot of people can think of, but that what makes you a good writer is that you have multiple layers in your writing. There are always layers floating around in every situation, in every scenario, and in terms of a bigger picture, bigger plot as well. So I think that is what makes a good writer.
Okay, because the reason I wanted to ask is also because if someone wants to improve on something, I think
Yeah,
this it can help people who are trying to get perfect their scripts or perfect their dialogue. So which is again another
yeah.
reason why I asked you this question.
So I think what then I would what are the things that one should improve on? And if we think about that question, I think then having layers in your writing. Uh, Initially, we get excited by just a lot of times we get excited by a very interesting plot idea, but that plot idea, I feel, if you want to be a good writer, then you need to figure out the layers in your writing. What are the layers? Why do you want to tell this story to begin with? What is your as a writer, your interest in this story? uh, like that's the question that I mostly ask myself. What is my interest in telling this story or being a part of some story as well? Even if it's something is offered to me to write dialogues or work on the screenplay, I ask myself, okay, what is my interest uh, in working on the story or coming on board to work on this story? Uh, because if I don't have that interest, which goes slightly deeper than just it's an interesting story. Uh, then it will fall I will fall out of interest in some time. But if the layers go deeper within you, then you will constantly be engaged with that, and then you will always have something more to give. So I think that is those are the layers. So you need to have layers uh, which you connect with in the story, which need to find. That is something that you need to work on. And I think uh, and also I think your scenes and your writing should, like, no scene, and especially no scene should be either boring or and like you should not bore the audience. I think it's like a most the simplest and the most important thing in any screenwriting is you should not bore the audience. Anything should either be engaging, entertaining, thrilling, dramatic. Like every scene should have either of these qualities. So if any of your scene is boring the audience, and if your writing is not really appealing uh, in any of these senses, like entertainment, engagement, thrilling, dramatic, emotion, laughter, then it is just boring. And I think those kind of writings are the writings that I feel are bad writing.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
what is something that you have heard multiple times and you are like कि यार
Hmm.
बस अब हो गया और नहीं करते ये? Is there any particular trope or any in scene जो आपने समझाया
Hmm.
in scene कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है
Hmm.
which you believe कि यार okay I know what is going to happen, can we do something different, something that has been done repeatedly and you are like can we do something different about it when it comes to
Using examples of that.
yeah, any examples of something that is happening in the story and which you know
Hmm.
कि अरे हाँ I know what is going to happen, I've seen this multiple times and you feel like maybe we should we should innovate more when it comes to writing this particular moment or something that you feel कि यार इसमें कुछ
Hmm.
नया किया जा सकता है अब.
Yeah, see, the thing is, lot of things have been done, in the history of cinema, which is now almost 100 years old, more than 100 years old now. Uh, Mostly everything, मतलब हर डिवाइस हो चुकी होगी या हो चुकी है, मैं ये मानता हूँ. बट आई डोंट लुक एट इट एज अ कि ये डिवाइस पे प्रॉब्लम है. आई थिंक व्हाट इज always exciting is how do you take a device and you give it your spin to it. There's always a possibility, a chance कि आप उसको अपना तड़का लगा सकते हो उस चीज के ऊपर. और वो तड़का आप में होना चाहिए, या आपको समझ होनी चाहिए कि अच्छा मेरा तड़का क्या है, या फिर मैं इसको कैसे एक नया स्पिन दे सकता हूँ. तो आई थिंक वो बहुत जरूरी है कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जो नहीं हो चुका होगा. कुछ ना कहीं आपको मिलेगा, अच्छा यार ये हो चुका है पहले, ठीक है. बहुत कुछ, बट हाँ, कुछ कहानियां होती हैं ऐसी जो कभी नहीं बोली गई होती हैं, या जो बिल्कुल ही नहीं होती हैं, बट वो बहुत ही वंस इन अ वाइल होती हैं. लेकिन उसके बावजूद हर सीन को, हर चीज को एक नया करने की गुंजाइश होती है। जैसे कि मैंने अभी कुछ ही समय पहले शायद किसी का मैं भूल रहा हूँ किसका, एक इंटरव्यू में मैं सुन रहा था, वन ऑफ आई थिंक द हॉलीवुड डायरेक्टर्स, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम ऑफ द पर्सन। उन्होंने बोला था कि यार कि लॉट ऑफ यंग यंग फिल्म मेकर्स नाउ shy away and they keep thinking, all of these stories have been told. Why should I don't know what to tell the story? All of it has been told. And he said, yeah, sure, they have been told, but not by you, you know. So tell it in your style. Uh, so I think that is very important. That's what I say कि कि अपना तड़का लगा सकते हो आप, लेकिन उसके लिए पहले आपको ये अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए कि अच्छा मेरा एक नजरिया क्या है चीजों को देखने का। अगर वो आपके पास नजरिया है, अगर आपके पास वो तड़का है, अगर अगर आपके पास एक अपना अंदाजे बयां है, so I think then you can figure out a way to uh, use that same device in your own way.
Right, right. I get it. Uh, Before I move on to your films, I wanted to talk about the fact that you are from Meerut. आप कहाँ से हो मेरठ में?
मैं मेरठ में भूसा मंडी नाम से एक जगह है,
Yes.
मैं वहाँ पला बड़ा हूँ।
अरे वाह क्या बात है because my dad's job was a touring job. He has worked in a pharmaceutical industry for the last 35
Oh,
years
wow.
and he used to
Okay.
travel a lot of covered a lot of areas of Uttar Pradesh. So
Oh, wow.
Meerut was like every week he has to go once or twice and he used to
हाँ,
stay at a place which is near Begum Bridge and
या
yeah we also
बेगमपुल, हाँ,
Begumpur, yes, yes, yes. So
हाँ,
we also had a couple of relatives who used to live there in Meerut previously. I think वो शास्त्री नगर में रहते थे. And
शास्त्री नगर, हाँ।
yeah, and so I have been to Meerut, and so it just I would love to know like how has it been from Meerut to Mumbai? It sounds like a very थोड़ा catchy सा वो है, but I would love to know like how did you get started? Did you always have an inclination towards cinema, writing specifically? How did you get into writing? And how did you then transition, from dialogues to screenplay and to directing as well? So how did these opportunities line up for you? Because you're not just a writer, you are like a complete storyteller because you are doing everything. You are not just writing, but you are also directing, you are also taking charge behind the camera to make sure that things work out the way you want out to because you are donning that hat. सो आई वुड लव टू नो, आई नो ये बहुत वैसा साउंड करेगा कि आप अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बताइए, बट आई वुड लव टू नो हाउ हैज़ इट बिन, हाउ डिड इट ऑल टर्न आउट फॉर यू, डिड इट was it like right things kept happening at the right time and you just ended up doing what you love the most?
No, see, right thing was not happening for the longest time. I had to uh, stay there in the field uh, for the moment to come and be ready for it. Uh, so I think that's how things happen. Things don't happen at the time that you want them to happen. Things don't happen uh, at the speed that you want them to happen. But things happen if you stay on, and if you constantly keep working on yourself and be prepared. Because when that chance comes in, you need to be ready with your with your full capability. Okay, when finally that time the chakra uh, will finally come towards you, then you need to be ready for it. Otherwise, you will miss it. Uh, so I think that's what it takes. Like I mean I came to Bombay in 2006, and Stree, which is the film that put my work out there for the first time, and where I could showcase my writing talent, was that, and it came in 2018. So it's a 12-year uh, time. Of course, in between I did television, which also really like a lot of my shows were big successes as well. But the main what I came to do here, which was films, which happened in 2018. So it's a 12-year journey, right, from that point onwards. So that 12 years is a long time. I came from Meerut to Bombay in 2006, and finally, if it's so I think it does take a while. It was a journey which was, I mean, I I think I'm literally uh, a changed person, a changed man from that boy who came at the age of 17, 18 when I came to Bombay from Meerut. And obviously, whatever I'm doing now was something of a dream, of an aspiration back then when I came to Bombay. Uh, and that boy, I think, was a like a small town boy, which I still am. I still see myself as that small town boy. Uh, uh, and I studied in a Hindi medium school. I came to Bombay. I mean, the writing, most of the screenwriting happens in English. So I had to learn all, not just learn the craft, but also learn the language. Uh, uh, and I think uh, what I always stayed true to was that I was aware of where I come from. I was aware of I want to hold on to it. Uh, I mean, I had a background in Hindi literature. I studied it. I was constantly a literature person since a kid. I was more of a reader than a movie audience, to be honest. I would read more than I watch. Uh, and reading has been my first like a love, or like my shelter where I go. Like books have been my first shelter. Bookstores even today are my favorite place to go. Uh, so all of these things I kept very close to my heart. Uh, and whatever uh, I felt as that young kid growing up in Meerut, those the people that I saw around me, the things that I saw around me, uh, the the stories that fascinated me as a kid back then, the stories I felt was enjoyed in cinema back then, all of those things and learnings have stayed with me. And I still use them, and I still keep them very close to my heart. uh, so that is what the small town brings with me, like even today. Now, उसके अलावा ऑफ कोर्स जब आप आते हो एक छोटे शहर से, तो आप बड़े शहर में आते हो यहाँ पर आप, मैं क्योंकि बहुत ही छोटी एज में यहाँ आ गया था, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं बॉम्बे भी आपको शेप अप करना शुरू करता है, क्योंकि आप एक अगर बहुत छोटी एज में आप आए, तो क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली पहले मैं मेरठ से दिल्ली आया, दिल्ली में मैंने कुछ टाइम के लिए अपना मैं जर्नलिज्म के मतलब आर्टिकल्स वगैरह लिखता था मैं कई अखबारों के लिए, फिर मैं बॉम्बे आया उसके बाद। तो और वो जर्नी बॉम्बे आने के बाद कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि ठीक है, जल्दी से सब कुछ हो जाएगा, आप आ गए हो, 2-3 साल लगेंगे, 4 साल लगेंगे, और शायद आप की चीजें आगे बढ़ने लगेंगी। बट देन आफ्टर कमिंग व्हाट आई रियलाइज वाज कि wherein I had a knack of writing, that was never, I think, I never questioned that, and I think that was something which was always there, which brought me to Bombay, because my articles were getting published in all the newspapers in Hindi. तो वो मुझे ये मालूम पड़ गया था, ठीक है, मुझे राइट ये लिखना मुझे आता है। तो वो एक डाउट मुझे कभी नहीं आया था कि लिखना मुझे आता है, मैं लिख लेता हूँ, मैं ठीक ठाक लिख लेता हूँ, और वो मुझे लोगों को समझ में आता है। लेकिन स्क्रीन राइटिंग एक क्राफ्ट था जो मैंने कभी सीखा नहीं था। तो जब यहाँ आने के बाद मुझे पता कि अच्छा ये क्राफ्ट है। और फिर वो जो समझ में आया कि अच्छा ठीक है, लेयर्स इतनी डेवलप नहीं हुई हैं राइटिंग में, जो मैंने अभी आपको बोला अभी। तो वो आई थिंक लगातार उस पर काम करना, उस पर बहुत सारे फेल्ड अटेम्प्ट्स के बाद भी आपको गिव अप नहीं करना है, आपको लगे रहना है कि नहीं यार, ये होगा होगा होगा। आपको कई स्क्रिप्ट लिखनी पड़ती हैं जो नहीं बनती हैं। अ, मतलब मुझे याद भी नहीं है, मतलब कितनी चीजें लिखी होंगी जो नहीं बनी है शुरू में, उन 10-12 सालों में। शुरू में ऑफकोर्स आने के बाद मैंने टीवी करा, क्योंकि पहले पैर जमाने के लिए पैसे कमाना जरूरी था। लेकिन 2-3 साल बाद जब हल्का सा एक लगा कि नहीं यार ठीक है, अभी एक एक टीवी से मुझे पैसे आना शुरू हो गए हैं, उसके बाद मैंने फिल्में एक एक पैर फिल्मों की तरफ बढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया था। लेकिन उसमें बार 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 एक स्ट्रगल हो रहा था कि यार चीजें लैंड नहीं हो रही हैं, चीजें लैंड नहीं हो रही हैं। मैं लिटरली व्हेन आई वाज एट द पीक ऑफ माय टीवी, आई लेफ्ट टेलीविजन फॉर 2 इयर्स, एंड आई सेड कि यार मुझे अभी ना फिल्म्स पे काम करना है। उन 2 सालों में मैंने अपनी जो सारी जो कमाई थी टीवी से, वो यूज करके मैं लगातार अपनी स्क्रिप्ट्स पे काम कर रहा था। उनमें से कुछ भी नहीं बना वो 2 साल जो काम करा, ठीक है। अब उस उन 2 साल में कुछ पैसे भी नहीं कमा रहा था, बट मैं स्क्रिप्ट्स पे काम कर रहा था। बट उन 2 सालों ने मुझे जो दिया वो इनवैल्यूएबल है, क्योंकि उसकी वजह से मैं कहीं ना कहीं मैंने अपने क्राफ्ट पे काम करा। तो जो मैं वो टीवी राइटिंग कर रहा था, उससे मैंने निकलने के बाद जब पैर अपना बढ़ाया, और जब मैं पैर बढ़ा था, वो लैंड नहीं होता था। वो इसलिए इसलिए नहीं होता था क्योंकि मुझे एक फिल्म राइटिंग की समझ नहीं थी। तो जब मैं 2 साल बहुत सी स्पेक्स स्क्रिप्ट पे काम करा, स्क्रीन राइटिंग के बारे में पढ़ा लिखा, तो वो जो 2 साल जो अपने आप एक सेल्फ टॉट फिल्म स्कूल हुआ मेरा, तो आई थिंक उसकी वजह से बहुत नॉलेज, तो मेरा इसलिए मानना यही है कि और आपको लगातार अपने ऊपर काम करना है, जो मैंने पहले बोला कि अपने ऊपर काम करना है, अपने आप को तैयार करना है, क्योंकि वो मौका, और अगर आपको डायरेक्शन पता है कि आपको किस डायरेक्शन में जाना है, आपको पता है कि मुझे इस तरह का काम करना है, अगर आप फोकस रहते हो तो एक पॉइंट आता है जब आपको वो मौका मिलता है, और उस मौके पे क्या आप तैयार हो इज द क्वेश्चन. सो आई थिंक यू हैव टू स्टे देयर एंड बी प्रिपेयर्ड.
राइट. आपने एक चीज़ बोली कि आप न्यूज़पेपर्स के लिए लिखते थे. सो व्हाट वाज इट दैट यू रोट, लाइक व्हाट वाज द जॉनरा ऑफ योर राइटिंग देयर?
So genre of my writing was mostly व्यंग्य, सटायरिकल कॉलम. तो मैं मोस्टली व्यंग्य लिखता था, क्योंकि व्यंग्य मेरा शुरू से बहुत ही पसंदीदा फॉर्म रही है. तो वो विधा मुझे हमेशा से पसंद थी, क्योंकि मैं जब मैंने पढ़ना शुरू करा, आफ्टर शुरुआती जो डोज होती है नंदन चंपक चंदा मामा के बाद की, उसके बाद की जो डोज थी वो मुझे सबसे पसंद आई, और उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि उसके बाद एक्चुअली मुझे लगा कि मुझे राइटिंग करनी है, जब मैंने पहली बार हरिशंकर परसाई को पढ़ा. हरिशंकर परसाई को पढ़ के मेरी आंखें एकदम मतलब खुली रह गई, और मैं लगातार उनकी किताबें चाट जाता था, क्योंकि मुझे लगा यार ये कितना मतलब मजा भी आ रहा है, लेकिन इतना इतना कुछ बोल रहा है इंसान अपनी राइटिंग में. और वहां से फिर मैंने राग दरबारी पढ़ी श्रीलाल शुक्ल की. उसके बाद राग दरबारी पढ़ के लगा कि अच्छा, क्योंकि हरिशंकर परसाई यूज्ड टू राइट एसेस, satirical essays. Sheila Shukla was writing in a satirical way, in that satirical tone, व्यंग्य की विधा में वो उपन्यास लिख रहे थे. तो he was writing narrative, you know, he was doing narrative writing, यानी कि एक स्टोरी टेलिंग, वो he was doing storytelling with the same tone of satire. And that, I think, once I found that, after Parsai, when I went to, after Parsai, Ravindranath Tyagi, Sharad Joshi, when I finally landed at Srilal Shukla's writing, जहाँ पर मैंने राग दरबारी पढ़ा, राग दरबारी पढ़ने के उनके मैंने बाकी जो उमराव नगर में कुछ और उनकी जो और जो दूसरी किताबें हैं वो पढ़ी. फिर मैंने एक और, मुझे बहुत फेवरेट राइटर मिले, ज्ञान चतुर्वेदी. तो जब मैंने इन लोगों को पढ़ा, और मैंने कहा अच्छा, आप इसको फिक्शन भी आप लिख सकते हो इस टोन के साथ. तो वो पढ़ के मेरे दिमाग के परखच्चे मतलब उड़ गए और दरवाजे खुल गए. तो मैंने कहा अच्छा यार, ये मुझे इस तरह का कुछ लिखना है कि यार मजा भी आए, और आप कहानी भी बोल रहे हो और मजा भी आ रहा है. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं मुझे, वो मेरा पहला अ, अ, जो मेरा पहला इंटरेस्ट था स्टोरी टेलिंग की तरफ, वो वहां से पैदा हुआ. फिर मैंने साइमल्टेनियसली मैंने लगान देखी मैंने कहा अच्छा, आप एक जमीन से जुड़ी हुई कहानी ही बोल सकते हो इन अ मच मोर सिनेमैटिक वे. तो ये सब चल रहा था मेरे शुरुआती वक्त में, जब मैं राइटिंग की तरफ जा रहा था, और मैं ये सब चीजें लिखा करता था शुरू में. मतलब तो मेरे सारे जो आर्टिकल्स थे वो मोस्टली सटायरिकल, वो मेरे व्यंग्य के आर्टिकल होते थे, जो मेरे हर जगह पर कई कई अखबारों में, कई मैगजीन्स में छप छप गए थे बिफोर आई केम टू बॉम्बे.
नाइस. एंड देन व्हेन वंस यू लैंडेड इन बॉम्बे, फिर आपने कैसे अपने अपनी कला को, अपने स्किल को पिच किया इन ऑर्डर टू गेट स्टार्टेड एंड गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी?
पिच से ज्यादा वही था, क्योंकि आई थिंक मैंने शुरू में तो ये था, क्योंकि आप एक इतने ऐसे शहर में आए हो जिसके बारे में आपने सिर्फ पढ़ा है या देखा है सिनेमा में, तो पहले तो वो था कि अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे टिकना है पहले तो, कि क्योंकि यहाँ पर कोई घर नहीं है जो आपको रहने देगा फ्री में, राइट, क्योंकि कोई रिश्तेदार नहीं है, कोई नहीं है. तो आप एक टिको कैसे इस शहर में. तो पहले तो वो जुगाड़ करना था, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. तो पहला अटेम्प्ट शुरू के 2-3 साल तक तो ये था कि अच्छा, यहाँ पर बस पैर जमा दो यार, अभी यहाँ से वापस ना जाना पड़े, क्योंकि आपने इतनी कहानियां बॉम्बे आने के पहले ये सबसे सुन रखी हैं, कह रहे कुछ नहीं होता, वापस आ जाओगे, खाने को पैसे नहीं होंगे, खाने को नहीं मिलेगा, दिन फिर दो पिट के वापस आ जाओगे. आपने ये सब कहानी सुनी है अपने शहर में बड़े होते हुए, कि बॉम्बे में ये बहुत बहुत बुरी हाल है, बहुत महंगा शहर है, जो है बहुत महंगा शहर है ये. तो अ, लेकिन उस समय लगा था कि यार पहले तो टिका लेते हैं अपने को यहाँ पे, ताकि वापस नहीं आना पड़े, वापस उन लोगों की शक्ल देख के जो बोल रहे थे कि यार वापस आना पड़ता है भाग के, उन लोगों की शक्ल ना देखनी पड़े फिर से. तो तो ये था कि पहले यहाँ टिका लेते हैं. तो आई थिंक शुरू का कुछ समय तो टिकाने में गया कि यार यहाँ पर पहले बॉम्बे में पैर जमा लो, फाइनेंशियली अपने आप को इतना कर लो कि आपको एक इनकम आ रही है, मतलब आपको अपना कमा के खा लोगे, एक घर वालों को ये चैन मिल जाए, वो लोग परेशान भी नहीं होंगे और मुझे भी वापस नहीं जाना पड़ेगा. तो आई थिंक शुरू के कुछ साल तो इसमें गए. जब वो हो गया 3-4 साल में, जब वो लगा हाँ यार अभी इतना हो गया है कि अब मुझे एक लोग काम देने लग गए हैं, तो वो मेरा, क्योंकि टीवी से हुआ था, मैं टीवी से मुझे काम आना शुरू हो गया था, तो एक इनकम का मुझे एश्योरेंस मिल गया था कि ठीक है मैं कमा के खा लूंगा अपना, वो स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा। अब उसके बाद कमाने के, अब जो मैं कहीं ना कहीं बोलता हूँ हर किसी को, यार अपना, आपको जो भी करना है आप इस लायक होने चाहिए हो कि आप कमा के खा सकते हो। आई थिंक ये बहुत इंटीग्रल चीज है जो कई लोग इस बारे में बात नहीं करते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि चाहे राइटिंग हो कुछ भी हो, ज्यादा उसको रोमांटिसाइज कर, जो करना है वो करो, लेकिन ये किसी को मत बोलो कि यार आप आर्टिस्ट हो, आपको कमाने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप बस अपनी कला पे काम कर रहे हो। नहीं, सब करो, पर पहले कमा के खा सकते हो आप अपना, पहले ये बताओ। कमा के जब खा सकते हो उसके बाद आप अपनी कला पे फोकस करना शुरू करो। क्योंकि भूखे पेट जो कला होती है, मैं उसका इतना हिमायती नहीं हूँ। तो मुझे लगता है कि नहीं यार, ये आप अ, कमाने लायक बनो, तो मैंने पहले पहले मैंने अपने आप को वहां तक लेके गया। और उसके बट मैं कभी ये कमा के खाने के बियॉन्ड, मैं उस मैं लालच में नहीं पड़ा कभी भी। मुझे ये नहीं था कि नहीं यार, और वो लालच का अवेयरनेस बहुत जरूरी है कि अगर मैं टीवी में मैं कर रहा था और अच्छा खासा टीवी में पैसा है, तो मैं उस लालच में पड़ सकता था, जो बाकी लोग मैं देख रहा था पड़ जाते हैं धीरे धीरे। बट नहीं, मेरे को कमा के खाना है और मुझे कला पे काम करना है अपनी, तो मैंने वो एक अपनी क्लैरिटी रखी। तो आई थिंक उसके बाद मैंने धीरे धीरे अपने क्राफ्ट पे, जो मैंने बोला कि मैंने फिर एक पॉइंट पर मैंने टीवी एक पैर अपना फिल्मों की तरफ बनाना शुरू कर दिया था। और फिर मैं लगातार लगातार अपनी स्क्रिप्ट लिखता रहा, स्क्रिप्ट वो नहीं बनती थी। आपको कहीं ना कहीं एक हल्का सा इम्पेशंस भी फील होता है, कहीं ना कहीं फ्रस्ट्रेशन भी आता है कि यार क्यों नहीं बन रही है। लेकिन उसमें अगर सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन कर रहे हो आप कॉन्स्टेंटली कि अच्छा यार क्या क्या चीज है जो लैंड नहीं हो रही है, क्या हो रहा है, अच्छा और करते हैं, कुछ और लिखेंगे, और आप लगातार, और जब आप लिख रहे हो लगातार ना, तो रगड़ रगड़ अभ्यास की जड़मति होत सुजान। तो वो क्या होता है कि आप आ जाता है, आप लगातार कर रहे हो, फिर एक बार तीर फाइनली निशाने पे लगेगा। जब आप तीर मारते रहते हो, नहीं रुकते हो, और आपकी आंख हमेशा उसी चीज के ऊपर है कि यार मुझे तो भेजना है उसको। तो एक पॉइंट पे जब आप हार नहीं मान रहे हो, खाना खा के फिर से आते हो, यानी कि खाना खाने का क्या मतलब है, यानी कि मैं कमाने खाने में लगा हुआ हूँ, लेकिन अब बार बार मुझे तीर मारने आना है कि मेरे को वो भेजना है उसको, वो मछली की आंख पे मतलब तीर मारना है कैसे भी करके। तो जब आप कमा खा रहे हो, पेट भरा, फिर खड़े होके फिर निशाना मारा। अगर आप फिर खाने ही बैठ गए पूरे टाइम, बोला कि यार अभी छोड़ो, निशाना लग ही नहीं रहा है, ठीक है, तो आपने प्रैक्टिस करना बंद कर दिया, आपने रियाज करना बंद कर दिया, और आपने गिव अप मार दिया उस चीज के ऊपर कि मेरे से नहीं होगा, मेरे से नहीं लगेगा तीर निशाने पे। तो आई थिंक ये बहुत जरूरी है कि नहीं, आप अपने आप को ट्रेनिंग के लिए क्या, ट्रेनिंग के लिए आपको कमाया खाया पेट चाहिए होता है, वरना आप गिर जाओगे, राइट। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि नहीं, आप कमाओ खाओ ताकि आपका एक पेट भरा रहे, आपको न्यूट्रिशंस मिल रहे हैं, आपके दिमाग में भी न्यूट्रिशंस बराबर हैं, और फिर आप फिर से खड़े हो और फिर से प्रैक्टिस करो, फिर से प्रैक्टिस करो, और फिर एक बार निशाना लगेगा। तो ये, दिस इज हाउ आई वेंट अबाउट माय जर्नी।
राइट, राइट। आपने शुरुआत में मेंशन किया दैट यू हैड लाइक अ स्टेबल इनकम स्ट्रीम फॉर द फर्स्ट 3 years. सो
हम्म।
व्हाट डिड यू डू? लाइक डिड यू गेट इनटू अ कंपनी?
नो, टीवी राइटिंग। सो माय फर्स्ट जॉब वाज विद बालाजी टेलीफिल्म्स, जहां पर मैंने एज अ ट्रेनी राइटर ज्वाइन किया। और 6 महीने के ट्रेनी पीरियड के बाद मुझे वहां से अपना एक इंडिपेंडेंट शो मिल गया था लिखने के लिए एज अ डायलॉग राइटर। तो मैं वो लिख रहा था, एक कहीं तो होगा नाम से एक शो आता था, मैंने उस पर एज अ डायलॉग राइटर काम करा। और फिर मैंने 2-3 शो और लिखे बालाजी के लिए। फिर बालाजी के बाद क्योंकि मुझे कुछ अलग तरह के शोज लिखने थे, तो मैंने बालाजी के बाद फिर मैंने बालाजी छोड़कर बाहर मैं फ्रीलांसिंग करने लगा। बालाजी में आई वाज अ सैलरीड एम्प्लॉय। उसके बाद मैं बाहर जाके फ्रीलांसिंग करने लगा। फिर मुझे फ्रीलांसिंग में थोड़े से ऐसे शोज जिनसे मैं रिलेट कर पाता था थोड़ा और ज्यादा, जैसे कि दिल मिल गए, एक शो आया था, बहुत पॉपुलर शो हो गया था। तो वो मैंने डायलॉग लिखे बहुत लंबे समय तक, उसके 1.5-2 साल तक मैंने डायलॉग लिखे हैं उसके, कुछ आई थिंक 250-300 एपिसोड के डायलॉग मैंने लिखे हैं उसके। तो वो मैंने डायलॉग लिखे। तो ऐसे मुझे फिर टीवी के डायलॉग का काम मिलने लगा, जहाँ पर मुझे जहाँ से मेरा एक रेगुलर एक इनकम स्ट्रीम शुरू हो गया।
राइट, राइट। अभी आपने कहा कि यू हैव रिटन डायलॉग्स फॉर सो लॉन्ग। बाय द वे, आई थिंक ये वही सीरियल था, कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा। आई थिंक इसका ये एक वो था। आई
हाँ,
आई रिमेम्बर बिकॉज ये
इसका ये टाइटल सॉन्ग था
हाँ,
इसका
बहुत
ऐसा।
टीवी देखा है यार बचपन में, क्या कह रहे हैं, बहुत टीवी देखा है। सो
मैंने कभी नहीं देखा था, मेरा सरदार का मैंने कभी टीवी नहीं देखा था। तो मेरे लिए टीवी लिखना, मैंने कभी देखा ही नहीं है, मैं टीवी लिख रहा था। तो वो थोड़ा स्ट्रेंज था। बट ठीक है, बट टीवी ने मुझे बहुत कुछ दिया है। एक तो ये कि मेरा जो खाना पूर्ति जो होती है, जो मेरे जो न्यूट्रिशंस की, यानी कि जो मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा था कि मेरे जो रियाज का समय था उसमें जो मेरे को जो खुराक चाहिए मेरी वो टीवी से आती थी। और उसके अलावा जो टीवी से बहुत बढ़िया चीज मुझे मिली वो ये थी कि मैं डेली राइटिंग का डिसिप्लिन, क्योंकि मैं डेली शोज लिख रहा था, तो आपको रोज लिखना है, क्योंकि आपने नहीं लिखा तो एपिसोड शूट नहीं होगा और फिर टेलीकास्ट नहीं होगा। तो वो अखबार जैसा होता है कि अखबार छपेगा नहीं कि अगर आपने आज न्यूज नहीं लिखी तो इसलिए उससे वो प्रैक्टिस बहुत डेवलप हुई, डेली रोज लिखने की, और क्विक थिंकिंग। आपको क्विक सॉल्यूशन क्रिएट करने हैं इमीडिएटली, क्योंकि ये आपके पास समय नहीं है कि अरे मेरा अभी राइटर ब्लॉक चल रहा है, अभी मेरे को मूड नहीं आ रहा, मोटिवेशन नहीं हो रहा, वो सबका समय नहीं है, कल शूट होना है, कल परसों टेलीकास्ट होना है, ठीक है, तो अभी लिख के दो। तो आई थिंक उससे जो एक बहुत ही क्विक थिंकिंग, ऑन द गो थिंकिंग डेवलप होती है, वो भी मेरी डेवलप।
Right, because I was actually coming to the same that we have been seeing so many serials जो पता नहीं कितने सालों से चल रहे हैं, लाइक
हम्म।
तारक मेहता आई थिंक इज द मोस्ट prominent एग्जाम्पल जो मतलब चल ही रहा है. So I always wonder
हम्म।
that how are the writers able to continue. Of course I'm sure that more and more writers keep joining the team on every project, but
हम्म। या।
लाइक यू जस्ट सेड कि देर शुड बी नो राइटर्स ब्लॉक, उसका टाइम नहीं है हमारे पास. सो और आप
हम्म।
लिखे जा रहे हो, लाइक यू हैव टू कीप राइटिंग एंड कीप राइटिंग. श्योर दैट इज बिल्डिंग अ डिसिप्लिन, बट वो कभी ना कभी तो आई एम श्योर वो मेंटली टैक्सिंग थोड़ा तो हो ही जाता है, बिकॉज आप अल्टीमेटली क्रिएटिव काम ही कर रहे हो. और लाइक यू ऑल्सो नीड अ ब्रेक, सो टू से, कि यार ठीक है, क्योंकि how did you not have writer's block? That's what I want to ask, कि how in TV
सी
कैसे आप.
टीवी,
हाँ.
टीवी जो है कमजोर दिल वालों के लिए नहीं है। यही बोल सकता हूँ मैं, और कुछ नहीं बोल सकता। आई थिंक ऑफ कोर्स होता है, मैंने भी एक पॉइंट पर जब मुझे लगा कि अभी मेरा हो गया, फिर मैंने छोड़ दिया था, क्योंकि मैं मेरे से नहीं हो रहा था एक पॉइंट के बाद। लेकिन फिर भी जितना भी 1.5-2 साल तक भी शो लिखना बड़ी चीज होती है। मैं तो ऐसे राइटर्स को जानता हूँ जिन्होंने 10-10 साल एक शो लिखा है, और बहुत अच्छा लिखा है। और मतलब बालिका वधु has been a very top show and a very well received show. There has to be a reason that people have liked that show so much, and writers have written that one set of writers has only written for 10 years. How did they do it? It's commendable, like in a sense that it takes so much discipline, so much presence of mind, and so much of life within you to actually give out constantly.
एंड आई एम ऑल्सो गेसिंग दैट क्योंकि अभी मैं आई वॉज स्पीकिंग, आई गॉट द चांस टू स्पीक टू सिद्धार्थ दीवान हुज अ सिनेमाटोग्राफर. तो मैं यही उनसे जानना चाहता था कि लाइक डू यू हैव a certain regime of how do you take care of your physical and mental health, because आप इतना काम कर रहे हैं. तो do you also have a certain regime की, of course I'm sure that you are trying your best, to wake up at the same time, sleep at the same time. Is there anything else that you do just to keep yourself sane कि हाँ यार मुझे ये काम करना है, you are in the field and there can be no compromise, so this is what I have to do. So is there anything that you do in order to optimize yourself every day?
I mean, I'm smiling because I don't have, the the ideal and the correct answer for this, because मैं बहुत स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ उसके अंदर आज भी, ठीक है। अभी ये मेरा लाइफ का इस समय एक्चुअली मोटो ही ये है कि मुझे अपना लाइफ को थोड़ा और डिसिप्लिन और थोड़ा सा और एक रूटीन फिक्स करना है। बट व्हाट आई डेफिनेटली डू टू कीप माई सेल्फ in the right places, that of course I try to do, like uh, have some physical activity in the day. uh, I try to make sure that I'm reading something or the other uh, every day. uh, I try to keep myself attuned with what's happening in the world. uh, I'm an information addict, so I mean, and I've been that since I was a kid. uh, uh, I would, even as a kid, I would read like 10 newspapers in a day. So that has been like, I would actually crave, Acha, where can I find some more information? Like where is there another magazine? Where is there another newspaper that I can read? I was, now of course there's a lack of time. So, but even then, because I've always been that, so I do it's something that I enjoy. I like to know about things. I like to know about like I'm that person who will go from, if there is a link in that article about to know something else, I will click on that link and again go to that article and figure out उससे क्या हो रहा है, ठीक है? Although it's a loop which is an addiction loop as well, which should not fall prey to it. But uh, but yes, I mean, I do all of these things. I read a book as well, even if I read 2 pages. But I make sure I'm reading something in the day. Uh, and I watch a lot of films. I love going to theater and watch, so I do that. I love going to watch plays as well. So I do all of these things to keep myself uh, like that I'm not just creating, I'm also putting inputs in me. तो एक खुराक भी आपकी हो रही है, तो वो खुराक जरूरी है, खुराक और रियाज दोनों चीज जरूरी है. तो आई थिंक ये दो चीजों का मैं ख्याल रखता हूँ, और बाकी फिजिकली थोड़ा सा एक्टिव रखता हूँ अपने आप को जितना हो सकता है. अ, वो जो एक जो रूटीन होता है कि इस समय लिखना, वो मैं अभी थोड़ा स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ एज वी स्पीक. अभी मेरा क्योंकि कहीं क्योंकि मीटिंग्स ये वो दुनिया भर की चीजें रहती हैं, तो मैं अभी फिलहाल आई जस्ट स्नीक इन राइटिंग whenever I can. Uh, Not sneaky in writing. I mean, I do writing, like sometimes I do writing in the first half, sometimes I do writing in the second half. But now I'm trying to organize my life better so that there is a dedicated hours. But my best writing time so far is the night time, when the world has gone to sleep. And then, you know, I take out my laptop and I write mostly till early morning.
Nice. And you are doing this in a
Yeah.
in a city that never sleeps, so that that itself is a big
Yes.
thing. Uh,
Yeah.
what has Bombay taught you in your years that you have stayed here and you have built a living, not just a living, you have
Hmm.
built a reputation for yourself. So,
Hmm.
what is the biggest learning that you've had from this city?
Uh, Biggest learning, I think, see, it's a city which uh, I become very, very, very used to the city now. Although the city has its plus and minuses, but I have become this person who like the city that never sleeps, and I'm also like very on the go person. Like I mean, I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly like I'm a workaholic. I love my work, and this is something that really makes me happy. Of course, what it's like. It's not like it doesn't give you stress. It gives you stress as well. But it's like playing a match. All the sportsmen who are playing a match, they love that sport. Uh, it also in a stressful situation, it gives them stress as well. But that doesn't mean that they don't love it. It is the only thing that they love. Uh, so, I mean, and the city, of course, has given, because it's a very it's like a cosmopolitan in the truest sense. I think the Bombay is the most cosmopolitan city that I've seen in the whole country. And I think it is truly that city, uh, which allows everybody to come in and thrive. And it has, and also the city has been a big turning. It has changed my life dramatically. Uh, when I came to Bombay from Meerut, I was a different person in all the senses, and now I'm a different person altogether in all the senses. Like I have a very different life, and it is thanks to the city. So I have a lot of gratitude towards the city. The city has its problems, like every city has its problem, and we keep hoping that things will, I mean, we all want things to get better, and that's only natural. We all should aspire to everything to be better. But I think I have a lot of gratitude towards the city, and this city has also shaped now how I think about life, uh, and also I think, like, although I'm still waiting for that one story which is completely set in Bombay. I mean, that is something that I've been wanting to do, because so far I've actually not done a story which is completely set in Bombay, and that's something actually I'm thinking very actively about. Is something I want to do something completely in Bombay as well.
Well, best wishes to that. I hope that happens as soon as possible. But speaking of your stories, I want to now talk about Chandu Champion. First of all, congratulations. The film has received excellent, excellent reception, not just at the box office, but also in the hearts of the audiences. So that is amazing. And the clear highlight of Chandu Champion is that that sequence in the final fight when everyone is just the character, he's just looking up and he's breathing and he sees everything, वो flashes आ रहे हैं कि whatever has held him back, and also what the things that have pushed him to be where he is, and they all take place in front of his eyes. I want to understand, how did you write it on paper? Because आप you are imagining an imagination, let's just say that कि आप, of course there is something that is in your head, but then you are also thinking about what is in someone else's head and you have to translate that visually. So आपने वो चीज़ कैसे करी कि how did how do you write that scene which is heavily visual, because you are translating an emotion which is very personal, and उसको आपने शब्दों में कैसे लिखा कि on paper, because of course वो हिचकॉक का कोट है कि if it's on paper, and I think क्यूब्रिक ने भी यही बोला है. So how did you do this कि वो ये सोच रहा है लेकिन हम उसको लिखेंगे and then we will tell.
No, see, it was all Chandu Champion is a journey film. It is more than a plot film, it's a journey film. It's about this young kid's journey because he saw a dream as a kid and how he eventually overcomes everything and does not let any obstacle bog him down and never surrendered and eventually did achieve his dream. So, in a journey film, uh, when we were at that moment in writing, where he is in the final moments and he's slightly lagging behind. So what do you do in those dramatic moment? Is the big question, right? Like, what is the thing that what is the device, that you say, okay, what is the character battling at this moment? Is he battling another person, or is he battling his own demons, or his own uh, life that he has fought so far? And we had already written a line earlier that uh, I think, there's a line I think in the Vijay Das scene, where the character says that इंसान uh, तब नहीं हारता जब, मतलब basically the idea that आपको अपनी ही अंदर की आवाज से जीतना है जो आपको बोलती रहती है कि तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, right? So Murlikant Petkar's character throughout his journey was not fighting with anybody else. He was fighting uh, with the voices in his head that he's Chandu and he's not a champion, which was told to him when he saw the dream for the first time as a kid. People mocked him, so it was the bullies in his head that were constantly pulling him down. Right? It was not somebody else outside. And then the situations, because in the pursuit of his dream, life threw all sort of obstacles at him and tested him. Can you do it? The life was asking him. Can you really do it? Kar paoge Murli? So this was a question that life was constantly throwing at him. And in those moments, we knew that uh, in the pool when he's going in and he's coming out of the water, he must see all his life panning out, all the things that which pulled him down, and all the things which somewhere gave him hope. All the crucial moments of the journey that we have already seen in the journey, we have already written in the journey, must come to him, and he needs to pick on the hope. He needs to pick on the good things, and let go of the bullies, let go of the moments which have pulled him down, and hold on to the hope, and then take the final lap towards victory. That was always the idea, and then we wrote everything on paper accordingly. Like when he goes down, he sees the kids throwing stones at him. He sees his family leaving him because at a crucial moment, and then eventually when he overcomes and he comes into the moment fully, is when he uh, achieves his dream.
Yeah, that is indeed a very powerful scene, and it acts like a true grand finale of what is happening in the entire film, because everything comes full circle and जैसे वो बोलते हैं story circle. So yeah, that happens. That is indeed a very impactful moment, and of course watching it in a theater makes it even more impactful. But there is another very impactful moment, and I really had a great time watching it, and that was the single take. So, single takes are something, because you have also worked in Family Man, and Family Man, like I did a video essay on Family Man. It's about the single takes, how single takes have been done in Family Man, how space and time are utilized in order to create the tension by shooting it from a single take. I mean that's what's my perception. Uh, and mostly when we think of single takes, we talk about cinematographer's job, because you see it as, you know, a direct image that acha ye yahan, but there is a lot of activity that happens, which of course needs all kind of, you know, blocking and everything, like working in closely knitted with the cinematographer. बट आई फील कि एक राइटर की भी उतनी ही ज़रूरत है एक सिंगल टेक लिखने के लिए. सो first of all, tell me, am I saying this right? And if yes, then I would love to know, how did you guys, you and Kabir, you know, just formulated that entire single take sequence from the POV of writing? Did you had to, like, how much of writing was spent in that scene? Uh, I'm 100% sure that there was a lot of time spent in filming that sequence, getting it right in the single take. But
Hmm.
how did you
Hmm.
guys write it down?
No, see, the thing is कि you don't, I don't think you write a single take. Uh, Single take is always done by the director and the cinematographer. Uh, because when you're writing a scene, and that scene was a very long scene because a lot happens in that scene. Obviously it was a one scene because he comes with a letter and he tells him that I have got this letter, and then the attack happens. So it's one scene. It's a continuation of the. There is no break in terms of the scene, but it was never. I mean, I never thought that this will be a one take scene. So I think it was mostly that one take is a call between the director and the DOP, you know and it's primarily the vision of the director. So I think it was Kabir's of course vision, that, and with Sudeep Das brilliant cinematography, that they pulled off that marvelous one take sequence. So it's you can't write a one take sequence, one shot, without break sequence, because you write a scene and then in a scene actually there are multiple shots usually. Uh, so it was completely their vision.
Okay, because I was wondering that, like you said, that it was written in a way, it was just a scene, but the fact that it will be a single take was their call. So that is what I wanted to ask actually. That the fact that this will be a single take, was this the call right from the stages of writing, or it happened once
No,
the
no, no,
okay.
no, no. It was a director's vision, of the script.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
another film, and we just mentioned about it, Stree, and उसका second part भी बहुत जल्दी आ रहा है. So, O Stree कल आना. This has now advanced from being, you know, just being a dialogue. It has now become like a pop culture phenomenon. उसके memes बन रहे हैं, इसके ऊपर post बन रहे हैं, people are sending gifs and everything. So when you write dialogues, do you also take into account the potential of something, something having the capability of becoming iconic or memorable to such extent that it becomes, you know, like a pop culture thing? Do you take that into account at all when you are writing something, when you are writing dialogues?
See, you do think of, okay, whatever work as a creative person you do, you want it to be uh, loved, you want it to be taken well, and there are of course things, like especially when it comes to dialogues, you do think of, because dialogues have always been a very integral part of our films, like Bollywood or Hindi films since the beginning. Like even as a kid, when we were growing up, we will know films by either by songs or by dialogues. Uh, so then as a dialogue, especially when I'm working on the dialogues of a film, even if I'm only doing the dialogue writer, or even if I'm only doing as a dialogue writer, or if I'm working on the full script and I'm writing dialogues, then I know, okay, in terms of dialogues, uh, you have to have something which becomes, oh, this is a good memorable line. People will love this line. Like it will be, if I as a kid, because like I remember as a kid, uh, I think I had not even seen the film. I think it was called Aflatun, that film. Uh, I think it had Akshay
अक्षय
Kumar
अक्षय
in
कुमार,
it.
आई थिंक उसी का ही गाना है वो,
Yeah,
ये खबर छपवा दो अखबार में. अगेन सेम,
yes,
सेम
yes,
रिमेम्बरिंग बाय द सॉन्ग.
exactly. जो हमने बात करी, तो ये गाना, and there was I think one dialogue in this, if I'm not wrong, बच्चे की जान लेगा क्या? if I'm not wrong, it's from the
No,
same
no, no,
film.
no, it's from Mr.
uh,
and Mrs. खिलाड़ी. अरे बच्चे की जान.
Correct, so it
हाँ
must be that.
हाँ हाँ.
हाँ. So now I remember, uh, next to our house there was a factory, uh, of which was owned by a friend's father, uh, like a small factory. They used to make auto parts, and there were a lot of workers in that factory. And on Sunday we will play cricket, because Sunday the factory used to be shut, and we will play cricket in that factory का, like a, जहाँ पर उनका काम होता था वहाँ पर खाली होता था, वहाँ पर वो क्रिकेट खेलते थे कंपाउंड में. तो and one Sunday I went there, and I was crossing the wall. I remember that moment even today. I was very young. I was 9 or 10 year old, and I was crossing. There was a small wall which you had to jump to go into the compound. Uh, and this guy, when I was jumping, he said, "अरे बच्चे की जान लेगा क्या?" I don't know why he said it, but it just. And I'm like, ये क्या बोल रहा है, it's Meerut. So Meerut में there's a tone which also actually matches with Akshay sir's tone, like, "अरे बच्चे की जान लेगा क्या?" ठीक है. So I'm like, why? What is he saying? तो मैंने कहा क्या, "अब बच्चे की जान लेगा क्या?" And he kept saying it. So throughout we were playing cricket, he kept saying that line. And then I realized that it's from some film which has just come out, which was, as you said, I think Mr.
And Mrs. खिलाड़ी, yes.
Mrs. Khiladi. So, and I think it had Undertaker's sequence, something like that,
So
right?
so they just made
So,
it into a like a very funny moment that there is a very heavyweight, like quite literally a heavyweight wrestler who has to
yeah,
fight.
and it was
Yeah,
it was a big part of the promotions. I think Undertaker की fight है, year ago. So then I think this guy, I think his name was Sarfaraz, if I'm not forgetting. So, and he kept, saying this line throughout. And Mickey Bhaiya, like all these, guys who are, all of them were like at least 10 years elder than me. Uh, they kept, saying, they had, I think, all gone to the film and they saw the film. They were all Akshay Kumar fans. Uh, and I remember the dialogue even today because of that thing. So my point is that dialogues are such, an integral part, that I remembered it even as a kid. Okay, films are known uh, by these things. You people take back some dialogues, some songs. Uh, so I think, because, as I told you in the beginning of the conversation, I still carry that, the small town kid, and what he thought of movies and what he enjoyed in films and what I perceive from the world, what movies mean to people. That so I think I always have that going in my subconscious mind. So I think whenever I'm writing, I do think of, "Acha yaar, what is that line in this film which will be interesting
right,
or memorable."
right, right. Do you have any? I'm sure you have other examples as well of some lines that are very iconic for you in other films.
I think
Lines that you really like कि हाँ यार this is like क्या ही dialogue लिखा है ये कमाल का.
no, even Mogambo Khush Hua. I think it's such a, simple and remarkable line. It's such a simple act. I mean, it has always, like, you cannot take it out of your head. It is impossible. I don't think, if you are if you have been if you love Indian cinema, Hindi cinema, Mogambo Khush Hua is a part of your being after that. Uh, so I think these are the kind of things which have stayed with me. Even there was a, I think, Rajkumar film, that Jani, ये अपने हसीन पैर जमीन पे मत रखना, गंदे हो जाएंगे, something like
मैले
that,
हो जाएंगे. Yes.
मैले हो जाएंगे. I mean, I have not, I think I saw that film playing on Z Cinema one day because my father used to love these films. And I just saw, I remember this line even today because I had just seen it many times playing on Z Cinema or
Right.
Setmax, I'm forgetting which channel. So,
इन्हीं दोनों में से किसी पे हो गया 100% श्योर हूँ मैं.
yeah, yeah,
हाँ.
yeah.
Nice. That's great. I want to now talk to you about directing a little bit because you have directed a bunch of episodes of a show that I dearly love, and that is Little Things. लिटिल थिंग्स में जो रिलेशनशिप है हमारे लीड्स की, ध्रुव सहगल एंड मिथिला के कैरेक्टर की, वो इट्स अ वेरी एस्पिरेशनल रिलेशनशिप कि यार why don't we have this chemistry, like whoever is I'm single but whoever is in a relationship, I'm sure उनके दिमाग में just like the office ke Jim and Pam, they have that thing ki why can't we have this kind of a relationship? Why do we have to keep fighting? Arey look, they are see, this is how they handled it. uh, how do you create and direct such kind of a aspirational relationship? Like, what is your intent behind creating a relationship on screen which is definitely very different from the usual that we have seen कि हाँ अच्छा ठीक है, झगड़ा होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा, but इसमें you are always surprised because of how they deal with, you know, certain internal conflicts as well. They have that kind of inhibition कि यार मैं इसे डिस्कस करूँ या ना करूँ. दे काइंड ऑफ आर वेरी सेल्फ अवेयर कि अच्छा यहाँ पे ये चीज़ गड़बड़ हो सकती है. देर इज़ शाउटिंग, श्योर देर इज़ शाउटिंग एंड येलिंग, बट इट इज़ नॉट दैट रेपिटेटिव कि यू फील कि अरे क्या है यार, दे आर जस्ट फाइटिंग. You always, in fact, when they shout, you get so worried कि oh my god, it has escalated to that point कि आज इनको चिल्लाना पड़ रहा है, अदरवाइज ये कभी नहीं चिल्लाएं. So I would love to know, since you have, you know, literally directed such kind of a it's a fictional relationship which you know, is very aspirational. So I would love to know your thoughts. What is your intention? What is your process? How do you deal with the actors? How do you formulate such kind of a narrative?
So I think it obviously comes from the beautiful writing done by, first of all, by Dhruv. Because I think his vision of the show was always, you know, this couple is somewhere, as you rightly said, it's like an aspirational couple. I think, and he created like such an aspirational couple that everybody can see, and as you said, you know, you can see it's how are they tackling it, and it's such a, like, they don't fight on the things that you usually see a couple fighting. Uh, and that's why it's aspirational, because you aspire ke, oh, we don't need to fight about these things, you know, we can just have a conversation about these things in a very open and frank and honest way. uh, that comes from the beautiful writing, of course, done by Zoom, which is what also attracted me to the show to direct to begin with. And I think as a director, what I had to keep in mind is that because it's written with a certain kind of a lens, it's written with a certain kind of uh, dignified lens, where he's trying to create, you know, along with the other writers which we had in the writing room, he's trying to create this sort of a couple which has a lot of comfort with each other, even though they can have issues, because there is no couple without issues, and they all constantly do have issues. It's not like they don't have issues, uh, but there's a sense of comfort. So I think in terms of direction, what the cue for me, because what I took from the writing was that there has to be a sense of comfort between them when you're shooting them, and there has to be a very dignified lens that you're looking at them from. Uh, Even in the most dramatic way, uh, you go into a dramatic treatment, but it is never going into a zone of uh, the ugly reality of a regular relationship. Uh, that sometimes the as a director you tend to go into, okay, if they're fighting, then you can go completely, because their fights are also not ugly. Their fights are very they're fighting, but they are never uh, uh, being uh,
Like, if I may
like
say, the nature of
hmm.
their confrontation is very बड़ा प्यार भरा है कि वो अगर
Yeah,
गुस्सा
there's a
में, हाँ.
lot of respect.
Yes,
There's a lot of
yes,
respect.
yes.
Even in those fights, there's a lot of respect.
Yeah.
So I think when the see a direction has to always, I have always believed the direction has to complement the writing, and take it to a next level, but respect the intent of the writing. Uh, that's why I think as a director in Little Things, I had to see, okay, there's a lot of respect in the relationship no matter what. So even if I'm shooting a fight scene between them, which I shot in that season, there's a lot of respect and dignified lens in the whole fight, and the way it is cut, the way it is shot, it never goes into a very haphazard, ugly sort of a treatment. It remains very, very dignified in the treatment as well.
Yeah, that's right. Because it is definitely one of, again, it has become very iconic, and uh, very aspirational, very iconic, and it's a kind of a show which you can always go back to. You know what is going to happen. It has gained that kind of a sitcom status. Not It's not a sitcom, it's a rom com, but you can always go back to that show. Uh, so yeah, I really wanted to ask you this because the moment I realized ki, oh, you have directed episodes of Little Things as well, so I just was very curious. Uh, yeah, is there a difference like when you are shooting for a streaming platform and when you are shooting for a feature film? Any kind of difference in terms of creative intent, in terms of control, external control, uh, freedom of choice, budgeting, any difference at all that you have experienced?
See, I've not directed a feature film yet. So it's a premature question for me to answer. Uh, but yeah, I think in general, the difference between an OTT content and a theatrical content is the theatrical content is made for the larger screen experience versus a OTT, content which is made for intimate viewing. Uh, so I think you have to just keep yourself aware of the same rules apply for writing for both the mediums, which apply to the direction as well.
Sure. ओके ओके सो आई मैं एक चीज़ पे अब बात करना चाहूँगा एंड यू हैव डिस्क्राइब्ड अबाउट दिस इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ नाउ व्हाट इज़ द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ रीडिंग फॉर अ राइटर
I consider it very essential. I know a lot of people actually don't read; they just like to watch things today. But I consider reading to be essential. I feel that reading gives you a lot more insights than say just watching. I love watching content, uh, but I think when you're reading it, the layers are revealed to you by the writer in a much more direct way than, let's say, watching something. And it gives you, you know, a command over language. It gives you a very good, uh, of course, it can give you good vocabulary as well. But that's just a small advantage. But I think what the reading, it's a very immersive experience compared to uh, viewing something, especially at home. See, when you're viewing something in a theater, it's very immersive. But when you're watching something at home, you might have 10 distractions. So I think, but when you go deep into a book, it becomes really immersive because, and also it fires your imagination because when you're reading something, you can visualize the things the way you want, and it actually enhances your uh, imagination and your visualization powers.
right so I think the natural follow up question is what are you reading right now
I'm reading the latest book by Gyan Chaturvedi, actually.
okay
It's a Hindi book, Ek Tana Shah Ki Prem Katha.
okay
I'm reading that right now. And yeah, that's what my current read is.
okay and would you like to again another natural follow up question that what is some of your favorites from the world of Hindi literature जिनके बारे में आप बात करना चाहेंगे that have really shaped you आपने you took some names previously uh, are they the ones who have helped you to get a perspective on writing or are there other people as well including them जिन्होंने आपको एक जिसको कहते हैं ना कि भाई दिमाग खोल दिया इन्होंने मेरी सोच का
Yeah,
सो ऐसा
yeah.
वो कौन है वो लोग और उनके कुछ उनका कुछ लिखा हुआ अगर आप बताना चाहें
नहीं, जिन्होंने मेरे दिमाग के दरवाजे खोले वो यही लोग हैं। ऑफ कोर्स मैंने पढ़ा, बहुत बहुत लोगों को पढ़ा है। बट जिन्होंने मेरे को सच में जिन्होंने मेरे दिमाग के दरवाजे खोले वो हरिशंकर परसाई, ज्ञान चतुर्वेदी, श्रीलाल शुक्ल, and Sharad Joshi, and also Mohan Rakesh. Someone I've really thoroughly enjoyed reading all. Uh, and उसके अलावा मैंने बहुत like I really love uh, uh, you know like there have been lot of other influences. I think I'm forgetting the writers. Huh. I have really enjoyed the writing of J.M. Coetzee. Uh, he's a Nobel Award-winning writer. Uh, I think there's a book called On Boyhood or About a Boy, something like that by his book. which has been my favorite book. I keep going back to it because it reminds me of my growing up years in Meerut as well. So there have been many authors which I've really enjoyed over a period of time, but who have shaped my writing. There have been the writers which I told you: Harishankar Parsai, Srilal Shukla, Gyan Chaturvedi, uh, Sharad Joshi.
And Mohan Rakesh.
These have been the writers, and Mohan Rakesh. Yeah.
Right, right. Uh, just a couple of final questions and then we'll call it a close. Uh, after the after the writer strikes in US, have you also witnessed some changes amongst writers and the entire community in filmmaking when it comes to treating writers with more respect and dignity that they deserve? Has have those strikes that took place in the West also created some impact and generated some kind of a लर्निंग कि हाँ हमें भी क्योंकि वही चीज़ है कि कहानी तो अंत में लिखी जा रही है ना, पहले पहले उसको पेज पे लिखा जा रहा है, फिर उसके बारे में विजुअल सोचे जा रहे हैं, और उस कहानी को लिखने के लिए भी आप प्री प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हो, आप रेफरेंसेस देख रहे हो, आप उसको समेट रहे हो और फिर उसे पेपर में उतार रहे हो. सो अल्टीमेटली it's all in black and white first and then it goes to the visual format. So have you witnessed any kind of a change which reflects a positive direction for writers?
No, see, our own association has been working very actively for the writers' cause and for the advancement of the writers' rights. Uh, and I think it has been doing a tremendously incredible job. Uh, and we just had I think 2 days, 2 or 3 days back, we had a writers' conference, a meeting, where we discussed. I think we are very close to forming a copyright society, sorry, like a IPR society. Uh, Sorry, I'm using the wrong word. Uh, what are we? Yeah, we are very close to actually making our IPR society where the royalties can be uh, collected for the writers as well. No, there is no like there is a society which collects royalties on the behalf of singers and lyricists and music composers, but there is no society for the writers, for the screenwriters. So that society is about to be formed by our screenwriter association, and there has been a lot of uh, efforts put in by the association to create a basic contract, which can be applied for the even for the newest writer. There are certain assurities that he will get. So right now, there is no safety net for the young writer who's coming in. He can be paid any amount as per the producer's whims and fancies. So there have been a lot of efforts for that, because see, once you have made a name for yourself, of course you have a much better negotiating power. But there has to be a basic structure which applies to everybody. So association is working on that for a basic minimum pay for any writer, which will be fixed by that contract. We have been in that contract. There's also like a formulas for credit, because I think credits are something which are played around with a lot in this industry. Writing credit is thought of as कि मतलब बहुत ही खराब तरीके से उसको ट्रीट किया था राइटिंग क्रेडिट को. एंड आई थिंक पीपल डोंट बिकॉज एवरीबडी थिंक्स कि यार राइटिंग तो हर कोई कर लेता है, कहीं ना कहीं एक ये है, एक एटीट्यूड है. लाइक डीओपी का क्रेडिट होगा तो उसको कोई टेम्पर नहीं करता है. लाइक डीओपी का क्रेडिट एक ही रहता है, जिसने किया उसी का काम रहता है. लॉट टाइम्स लॉट पीपल कम इन फॉर राइटिंग क्रेडिट्स which have not done the work. So I think the association is working really hard on that. I think soon they will have that model basic contract in place. And then this society to collect the royalties also just, I think it's already formed, and it will also be active within 1 year. So I think there has been a lot of improvement since the time I came to Bombay. I can tell you that the improvement have been massive in terms of from where we were and from where we are. We have a long way to go compared to, let's say, the American the Writers Guild that you talked about. What they are fighting for is you know is what the first world can fight for. The first world country can fight for. We are fighting a very simple battle right now, very basic battle. So I think once we have won that, then that will be a beginning for the journey forward.
Sure, sure. And my very last question is that you have named a lot of literature greats, हिंदी सही सही, बट आई थिंक बहुत ही अच्छे रेफरेंसेस हैं कि हम उनको पढ़ सकते हैं ताकि वी लर्न समथिंग अबाउट द आर्ट ऑफ राइटिंग. What are some of the films or some of the stories in cinema, be it a show or be it a documentary, be it a film, जो राइटिंग के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखी जा सकती हैं और उनसे बहुत कुछ सीखा जा सकता है, इन योर ओपिनियन?
हम्म तो आई थिंक बहुत सारी फिल्में हैं, जैसे मैंने लगान का बोला आपको. लगान हैज बीन वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट फिल्म्स. आई थिंक इट्स ग्रेट राइटिंग डन. एंड देन देयर इज मुन्ना भाई, both the Munna Bhais, especially Lage Raho Munna Bhai. It's a great film and great writing. Uh, then and I think, I mean, for the just for the sake of writing, I've been a big admirer of how Pyasa was written, or even Kagas Ke Phool was written. Incredibly written films. Uh, then there have been really great comedies like Hera Fairy. I think incredibly written comedy. Like I mean, I keep watching it. I was watching. I think 2 weeks back also I was watching Hera Fairy again, and the way it is written, everything lends even today. So these are some of my top of my head names that I can think of.